a moment. They don't really have a lot of burst damage. So if you just have like a Yules or a BKB or a Bloodstone or whatever, you're not gonna get bursted down in 1 second, which means that if you don't mess up completely, you shouldn't need a save. Of course, this is Dota and things go wrong, so having a save is still very nice, but it's not a necessity in this kind of game, where the damage should be very predictable coming out from 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Oh, 5RATFORCESTAFF. They went ahead and got themselves this early vision out into the mid lane. Wasn't scouted at all this move. The cut might be able to intuit this in a little bit, but I don't think either of their supports are carrying... Okay, they have one sentry on Giants at the moment, but looks like neither team really wants too much smoke, so we're just going to have a standard 2-2 rune trade-off here. And look where Tingle King is here on this Night Stalker. They're thinking about it for 5RATFORCESTAFF if they do want to make that kind of lane swap change. Is it necessary, or is it just one of these things where they're trying? Okay, no, he's going top. He's fine. Everything will be okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there is always some posturing in the mid lane at the start, and I always get excited about rune fights, and then they just back off and play it safe and play it properly. And I, as a spectator, just want chaos.
Oh, I think that in a game that includes Ember Spirit, Night Stalker, Snapfire, a Bristleback, Rubik, and Leshrac, certainly chaos will be coming for you, Wingblade. Do not worry about that, my friend. As the game now gets to kick off. And are there any of these lanes that you think we should be paying particular attention to, the way that things are kicking off at the moment? Looks like we're going to be having the lanes we assumed we're going to have in the draft. So where should we be looking for the most action here in this early game?
I would definitely not look bottom, because it's just gonna be 15 minutes of farming, and I am fully aware that I put the caster's curse on this lane now, but I'm standing by it. We're gonna see the first blood top, because there is a Bristleback, and if there is one thing that Bristles do well, it's either killing or dying, depending on the game. Regardless, there is gonna be kills.
We'll definitely see this lane have a lot to do, a lot of negative armor as well, on both sides, really. So, Tingle King already tangoing a little bit with Pingu, both of them down to half HP. Scourge McDuck, of course, will just be happy to farm away with these Quill Sprays. It's a Bristleback lane, like you mentioned, so we need to also pay attention to these levels. Level 3 feels like a lot of action is going to break out in this top lane. And the same degree of non-action is going to happen bottom, because just farm. Nothing's going to change here. So, since he's going to be getting practical fee farm on this TV, what's the build-up going to be on this hero right now?
He's just gonna get the classic items. Just treads, and then maybe a Dragon Lance. Manta, probably. Could be just a casual Yasha as well, then a Skadi, maybe a BKB at some point. Just very boring and safe items.
Oh, pops the meta right now. Wants to go for a quick kill to accelerate his timing towards those items. The right clicks are coming out, but Giant, thanks to the slight interruption from DNM's Shockwave, is unable to finish off the kill. Gets himself back behind the tower, pops this off, he's fine.
Fairy Fire as well still on him. He was completely fine, no sweat. That being said, I was very worried about my first prediction being very wrong already.
That would have been hilarious if they got that kill. It would have been like, you were saying, Wingblade? I thought there was no action here. Right
Instantly
now,
get a Discord message, you're fired. Ooh, like Bristle though.
Please, you know. It's falling very low in a dangerous situation, trying to juke through the trees, not going to be able to do so. And not only did your prediction pan out with no deaths down bottom, it also pans out for maximum action in the top lane. You end up losing Scourge McDuck. Terrible situation to lose your safe laner. This also helps to take a little bit of pressure off of Nico. He now knows that, you know, these early rotations on the Ember sometimes can feel super important when your team is losing these lanes, but now we can just focus on doing well in this mid lane matchup against this Leshrac. And he's doing a lot better than I thought he would here against Kids. Nico really on it at the moment.
Yeah, this is the first few waves when you're a melee hero with a Quelling Blade. Always feels very good. Nice Sleight of Fist dodge as well. But we'll see if he can keep it up. This is definitely the kind of start you want on an Ember. He has a bottle. He's gonna have boots if he wants them. Just a very nice start.
Very nice start indeed for Nico here. And Scourge McDuck in the top lane, since we do have safe lane Bristleback. I think this is probably, in my mind, when you play this hero safe lane, is probably one of the most item dependent in the sense that you always have to itemize for the game in question. There's no like standard build that you can just go reliably every single game. And we'll talk about the item in a second because Pingu might be in some danger here. Tingle King trying to chase through the trees to get the Void out as well. A lot of damage is flying through, but you also realize they can't chase too deep. Scourge McDuck throwing in some viscous nasal goo just to dissuade them from running forward. They do manage to get away on Pingu. Super tanky boy. He's going to ferry in some regen. He'll be fine.
I guess Night Stalker was just hungry for a cookie there. No ulterior motives.
Oh, it's like... but tell me about this. Like, what's Scourge McDuck gonna build for the game? What's the way forward? We already spoke about how he can't just play a standard game versus Terrorblade. You know, one of the worst matchups for him. So where do we go once he starts getting the gold necessary to pick up the progression on his itemization?
I think the biggest power peak would be buying a Crimson Guide, because a lot of TB's damage actually comes from his illusions. So when you make sure they don't deal any damage, well, that's a way to deal with the TB. And then they're gonna have like a 5 to 10 minute window where they can actually hit towers. Of course, in this hypothetical, they have equal gold, right? So there is no huge lead and no one messes up. But at like 25, 30 minutes, TB is gonna become really strong. And if you look at this this lineup from the cut, they don't have a lot of lockdown if you factor in the Abaddon. Like, the only way you can kill the TB is when you make sure you stun the Abaddon, and then he pops his ulti and you stun him again so he can save the TB. And these kinds of situations don't really happen in actual Dota.
Other things that do happen in actual Dota is that the game gets paused, and then after it's paused, they run at you and kill you. Feels bad.
Yeah.
Loses his life middle. This is not good, right? You were having a good time. You were mentioning how, you know, the early waves start off well. You just want to see if you can maintain that pressure, but when you die, yeah, that pressure is not being maintained. Kid's now feeling a lot better about himself in this mid lane, and very nice rotation from Giant. It didn't even end up leaving DNM alone, and Giant goes back bottom to assist DNM with the potential kill over Obolom. The Baron does manage to skirt away to safety, but it's a bit of a close call in that situation, and Giant already proving his value. I'm starting to see why they picked him Rubik. I'm starting to see.
Yeah, we could have some big plays as well with like telekinesis into Skewer. There is some potential there.
So for now though, levels being accrued, farm being picked up on both sides, no major advantages. Outside of that big kill middle, it's still been a fairly quiet game. And of course, for the side of 5RF, the 5RATFORCESTAFF, they'll be very happy with this. TB is getting farm. So you're always happy when you're on the team that's allowing Terrorblade to get this degree of experience and farm for himself. So the cut might feel that they have the impetus to try and make something happen first and foremost. But it feels kind of difficult, right? There's some strong rotation potential from 5RATFORCESTAFFs, from several heroes who can just come in and stop an initiation from happening just off the bat.
Yeah, it's quite tough for the cut to really do anything about the TB free farming, because it's not like your Rubik and Ogre are suddenly gonna kill a TB. You really need the Lesh.
Speaking of Ogre, he's taking a fight in the mid lane. They come across this Ember Spirit who gets saved by the 5RF. His Fire Snap Cookie keeping him alive. V-God will die for this, but certainly happy to trade away his life to save the Ember Spirit. However, now that they know that heroes have vacated all corners of the map to come save middle, they're trying to run down DNM. You see this Terrorblade happy to chase him down and force him away from the lane as much as possible. They're not going to try and fight him behind the tower, but we'll put in a couple of pot shots onto the tier 1 with the Sea Dragon.
Would have liked to do more, but Magnus, he is really tanky, so he can just pull the aggro from the creeps and be annoying. It's just what he does.
What do you think actually between these two offlaners? Who has more of the responsibility to sort of open up the map for a team between DNM and the Tingle King, Night Stalker on the other side of the map?
I mean, Magnus has like 0 pressure until he gets his blink. So probably Night Stalker, who is getting a nice kill here as well.
They're looking for this kill. Will they be able to pick it up? Yes, they do. Woo! Big damage coming in from Tingle King with the Void. They secure that kill. I was concerned that maybe the Centaur Conqueror would go in for a war stop. That would be hilarious. But revenge is coming quickly. Kids showing up with the Rainbow Pony. They burn down V-God. Not going to chase for the Tingle King. Kids, while you're here, might as well soak up this farm that's in the area. So very, 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 very good kill to pick up. Bringing down Bristleback for the second time in this game in the early portions always feels amazing. And at the same time, though, more revenge plays might be coming. No, Nico, he went into this jungle looking for kids. Doesn't manage to find him. Almost dies for that. But fortunately for him, he did have an escape remnant at the ready. Wasn't prepared to play fully aggressively. And he gets out safely. If he just got all in for that, he 100% would have died.
Yeah, Ember really needs a few items before he can make things happen. Lesh is completely ready to fight, but you can see that even with the Flame Guard, Ember feels very squishy. He needs max Sleight of Fist, and either a Maelstrom or just an Orb of Corrosion to deal some damage.
To buttress your points about Lesh being fully ready to fight, he'll make the rotation down to this bottom lane. Gonna show up to try and assist with the RP play. The first one is committed. Here we go. Split Earth, connect onto the Terrorblade. Will they kill him? Indeed they do. Nico shows up to try and help out, but Nico's himself in trouble now. No, Remnant in the wrong direction, Nico. This is dangerous. Will he be able to get himself out of here? I'm not sure they know he's still here. And more support is flying in, and so they're going to try and get this turnaround. The patience he showed might end up paying off. He's distracting them again, dragging them away from the tower. Overlom, though, came a little bit too close, and he doesn't have a remnant out, so Kids with DNM are easily able to run him down. And this might just be more bonus kills as B-God getting burnt away by Kids. Does manage to escape to the high ground of the Fire Snap quickly, but cannot do the same to help out the tower. So this will certainly fall down bottom. They got the Abaddon kill, they got the Terrorblade kill, and the cut just explode onto the map with great things happening for them. Kids, a wonderful first rotation for this Leshrac.
And that's exactly what he needs to do. I mentioned how the supports are pretty mediocre at rotating. So Kids just goes, they commit the RP, and they kill the most important hero on the map. If they can keep this up, that timing is going to be terrifying.
Look at the gap he's now opened up onto Nico. And Nico's actually going in onto Kids. Still so squishy. My gosh. 2 spells committed and Kids almost solo killed him. Nico, like you mentioned, definitely not ready to fight at this point in time. Needs a couple of more items. Still needs to finish this Maelstrom. And the cut will certainly be feeling happy about. Well, except for the 2 deaths on Bristleback, they're ecstatic about how this early game has gone. But Leshrac can sort of help out in the interim until Bristleback gets to the point where you do feel ready to fight yourself.
Yep. I really think Nico should stop trying to fight Kids as well. Because every time he's like, haha, I can get away, look at me, I have remnants. But then he needs to walk back to base. And at the time, Kids is like, alright, I committed 2 spells and now I can get back to farming jungle.
Yep, we're definitely starting to see the delta open up in the overall net worth between these 2 heroes because of these decisions from Nico. And now the cut coming in towards this mid lane. They want to push this tower. Diabolic Edict committed by the cut. Kids, they know full well that he's super strong right now, so there's actually no point in even trying to defend the tower. Sea Dragon doesn't even need to get close. And DNM, you know, might seem a bit greedy for him to rush and kill this, but look at his build right now. He's going for this Helm of the Dominator into Blink first, or is this going to be the full Helm of the Overlord to come out before he considers going for the full team fight route?
I don't really see Helm of the Overlord on Magnus that often. I feel like it's more of a Beastmaster or a Lycan thing, because they can juice them up. Well, Magnus just buys it because, well, he's an offlaner and he wants to have some pressure. Doesn't, like, synergize super well with his kit. I would expect the Blink next.
This work out, though. Let's see, DNM hasn't decided yet, so we'll see what the item queue is going to reveal for us. And Nico still in this top lane, making as much progress towards Maelstrom as humanly possible. Until he arrives there, though, definitely should avoid fighting, and even afterwards, he should really prioritize getting up his farm. He needs some defensive items. You know, allow Tingle King rather to be the one that gets the aggression going for himself as soon as he gets closer towards having Blink. But Nico says no, he's going to smoke up with these supports, and they're going to try and make a move here to catch out Kids. They don't have clear vision of where this hero is. They do see Giant in their own jungle, so they know that he's not going to be nearby Kids if the smoke does break. But Ogre, okay, good game sense, comes in behind the tower. They're going to find the protection, and they will be able to get this vision out. You see Scourge McDuck and Giant coming up the hill, though. Maybe not the target you want, and they now Remnant down. Nico looking for Giant. Here comes the crippling fear from this Night Stalker flying over Scourge McDuck. Bristleback cannot cast any spells, but doesn't matter. They don't have the damage to do anything with this setup. now they're being forced back because the cut responding with numbers, looking onto Pingu first and foremost, and they have the damage from this Leshrac. Look at them go. RP now committed onto the Tingle King to find that kill. He's gonna get ticked out so fast. And Scourge McDuck running down Nico. One more salvo of spells would have killed him, but he remnant out at the very last second. And 3 heroes fall, and weirdly enough, those are three out of the 4 heroes that went for the fight. Instead, they end up getting hit in the nose instead, and dropping and claiming nothing in response here, Wingblade.
5RATFORCESTAFF needs to be very careful about these kinds of skirmishes. Because if this comes down to a farm game, they're gonna be completely fine, but if they give away momentum, it's rough.
Yeah. Definitely a difficult fight as we see it yet again. How it took place. They just don't have any damage right now. The decision to keep fighting, like you mentioned, they are doing this with the full belief in themselves that they can make it happen, but unfortunately, pragmatically, it's just can't. You don't have the items, you don't have the levels. Leshrac is just way too powerful right now, and Kit has been very happy about all these engagements because it means he's been getting a lot more farm than he was expecting in this game. Things are definitely looking up for the cut.
Speaking about farm, how is Magnus the most farmed hero in this game? I wasn't expecting that one.
Okay. He's out here. I guess he's been walking around with these camps in the Hellbear Smasher, putting in power on it and having it farm. And speaking of this Hellbear Smasher, it's giving the vision to Ember, but nice slight dodge from Nico. DNM didn't want to start off with the RP. Doesn't have RP, in fact, so they revealed the Blink Dagger in that situation, but unfortunately cannot get a kill off of it. But this is very peculiar, but I guess, power is a good spell, Wingblade. It helps a lot to get this money.
Let's see what Leshrac wants to go for next. He could totally just buy BOTs and increase his map pressure. I don't feel like he's gonna wanna buy a BKB this early. He still feels kind of tanky. Just buys a Kaya instead. Alright. Maybe we see a Bloodstone?
Getting Sanjin Kaya, Bloodstone? I guess he's getting enough kills and the fight are going well enough that you could potentially justify an early Bloodstone on this hero. Might be the option.
It feels really good to have that much mana regen. Oh, but Tingle King.
Nico is, and the fight is coming. Tingle King gets scouted out, skewered back directly into Pingu. There's gonna be the multi-cost Fire Blast, followed up by the Split Earth. Kit gets the easy follow-up for the kill. You also kill Nico. How did that happen? Giant and Scourge McDuck just combo up together to bring down one of the key heroes for the 5RATFORCESTAFF. And Overlom caught out here in this mid lane, Yules into the air. This is going to delay a lot of the timing of the borrow time and allow them to just claim his life with a zap from the Fade Balls. Giant on a double kill now. And yet again, 3 heroes falling in these fights. It feels like the only hero that hasn't died like reliably in this game is Terrorblade, but that's just because he's not been involved. And sure, you're allowing him to get all this farm and space to himself, but Dota's a team game for a reason. Terrorblade, even alone, will not be able to do everything, and especially, like you mentioned, against Leshrac, one of the best heroes in the game, against this TB hero.
Yeah, I'm slightly worried for the Rats here, because it's not like TB is super far ahead either. He's very far from reaching critical mass. He's gonna need a Skadi and then one item on top of that to really become scary.
For Nico. Oh, Nico. Alright. So, Nico is an escape artist. He somehow got himself out of certain death. After this game, I definitely want to see him change his tag from Nico to Houdini. Thank you very much, good sir. That was very, very close. I really thought he was going to die 100% there. And for once, a move from the cut doesn't go in their way. They smoked up to try and find him, and they failed to make it happen. Fortunately, though, they didn't end up committing RP, so it's still okay. You don't feel bad about having gone in for that play, and they're going to try again, potentially. Looking towards this mid lane, so Nico still needs to be careful. Oh, and they come in. RP on the 3. DNM gets it off onto everybody. Split Earth follows up as well, but Kit gets sundered back. The Terrorblade finally showing his teeth. They force back Kit, immediate pop on the Invis rune to make sure that he can get away to safety. That came rather close, but RP came out. RP was used, 3 heroes were caught, but nobody dies. Finally, some good news for the 5RATFORCESTAFF lineup.
Man, my blood pressure is just going up every time I watch Nico. It's so stressful, the kinds of plays that he goes for.
Oh, Honestly, I love it. This is my kind of guy. It makes the game super entertaining. You never know which direction it's going. I call these kind of players your old 11 kind of playstyle, where one day he's winning you the game by himself, and the next day, game is hard. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
Let's have Maelstrom at the very least now. So we'll finally be able to progress somewhat in this game and get closer and closer towards necessary items. Does he just go straight BKB here so he can at least survive the salvo of spells from Kits, who is just destroying everything on the map right now? Or will he go for a slightly more aggressive item instead of the full defense of BKB?
Slightly. No, I think he needs to buy a BKB. Because otherwise he's not gonna survive in these fights, and he's not gonna be the one killing heroes. He just needs to create chaos. And you can't create chaos when you just get telekinesis and then split earth and then you die.
Difficult to be chaotic when you're in the grave. Scourge McDuck has an Aghanim Scepter now on this Bristleback. So now we have the AoE Viscous Nasal Goo. They could start setting up to secure this Roshan, as they are playing around this area. Radiant is fearful of this exact thing happening as they're scanning in the pit. Still feels like they might want a level or two, but they're feeling really, really strong. RP is back up in 10 seconds. To be fair, it is their only really big spell, but to be even fairer, 5RATFORCESTAFF, the only spell they have is like Morty's Kisses, and they don't really have easy setup to allow all of it to rain down on a single target. So they do actually have to be afraid of this Roshan getting taken, and indeed the cut, head inside the pit, they're gonna grab this one Wingblade. Do the 5RATFORCESTAFFs have any counterplay to this move?
Nah, not really. They don't have great poke. They can commit Mortimer's Kisses, but that's not gonna stop a Roche. It's just gonna delay it. So they just need to hold out, because this is the timing for the cut. If they can prolong the game by another 10 minutes, they're gonna be in a solid position. They just need to make sure that they stop losing heroes and they don't lose tier 3s. They're gonna inevitably lose tier 2s. Not gonna be able to stop that, but just don't lose racks.
Tier 1 tower is getting taken in the top lane by Scourge McDuck. Grabs it, just accruing more and more net worth, building up into an AC right now. It's going to be such a tanky hero to deal with. But something that I actually wanted to draw quick attention to, as we see a fight potentially happening onto this Abaddon, getting dragged back into a negative position. Fire Blast, Split Earth. Woof.
I really love...
He's already dead, Joe. Like, wow. I think he's going to be dead twice after that. Jeez, that was a lot of damage.
These plays that DNM is making with his Helm of the Dominator are just insane. Like, he skewers back into a Centaur Stomp. Like, he's been consistently doing this all game long. And I said that the HOD doesn't have that much synergy with his kids, but definitely does if you play like this.
DNM, he comes across V-God right now, dragged him back from the TP attempt, will be able to clean him up and kill him. Not allowing them to catch any breaks anywhere on the map. 5RATFORCESTAFF definitely playing up against it. Sure, they are still getting the farm on the TB. We're making some decent progress farm-wise for Nico to get closer to BKB, but it feels like you mentioned this 10-minute timing, 10-minute window rather, that this cut's gonna have where they feel really strong. But they also feel so strong item-wise that that window might be extended further beyond that if 5RATFORCESTAFF can't make something special happen soon. In fact, the cut is just going to keep running at them. They're here to take the tier 2s. You said they shouldn't lose the tier 3s, but the cut might not give them that option, as they are desperate at this point to put the finishing touches on this game. You know, make it an early one. You don't want to have to go late into the Terrorblade matchup. That's when it gets scary, so never get there. If late game is bad, just, you know, break the game before it arrives.
TB is doing what he needs to do. Like, you want to constantly split push. Both Nico and Italiano Gangsta need to be pushing lanes all the time. Like, if you sit in base with a TB, you can't get your illusions into the right places. So at this point, they have decided that they're gonna just straight up defend, and I think that's a mistake.
Very hard to defend the higher ground against a Leshrac and a Bristleback with Ags. And unfortunately, this is not TI9, where you have a IO gyrocopter where you can just buy the diffuser blade to help you out. You gotta do this the hard way. They're coming in for the second round of Diabolic Bleeding in a second. And they've already committed the glyph. Tingle King gonna try and make something happen. Does have access to the BKB, no blink just yet. And DNM trying to keep the Night Stalker out of the fight on the outskirts. Unable to get the initial catch onto him. So they recognize that single play does have the vision advantage here, so rather back off. Such disciplined play coming in from the cut here to immediately remove themselves from the fight within even the slightest possibility of a disadvantage.
Yep, Dark Ascension is gonna run out soon, and they still have 90 seconds left on the Aegis. So they can just wait a moment and go back in. Ember wants to split some creeps here, but needs to be very careful.
It's Nico, man. He's fine. It's just an average day at the office for our boy Nico. He's not taking risks. He's not doing it properly. You know, gets out, and I say this. Oh no, I hope I didn't cross this cursor. Nico, get out, get out. Okay.
Just want to kill the creeps, but it's too late. Backdoor protection is gonna be disabled. That's Rip Racks.
We're gonna have to return from top. Yeah, this is free racks. There's no way they can stop this. And this is, I think, the textbook way that you want to utilize the last remaining moments of your Aegis. Not to just be farming out on the map, but forcing the enemy team to fight you when you're so much stronger than them. And they're going to be able to either force a fight or get another tower here. DNM doesn't find the skewer back. It is Nico, to be fair, so it's kind of hard to do. Scourge McDuck very, very low on the HP as the Morty's kisses also fly in. Only gonna connect a couple of times, but it's enough to put fear in their hearts. Giant almost loses his life. Side of this just barely not enough. Nico can't do anything because he's gonna get RP by DNM. He's still alive, however, and we see the right click starting to emerge on this Terrorblade, but Scourge McDuck now wants to turn with the full damage of the Leshrac. Fire Snap quickly throws back Italiano Gangster for a little bit, and Rubik brought back as soon as he got brought down to return to the fight. Abaddon doesn't have the same luck, but the way things are panning out right now, it's still an okay situation until Nico gets himself stunned. Nico, is he finally gonna die? Yes, he will. And Italiano Gangster gets dragged back by the skewer. He's killed as well. Everybody else needs to flee. Buyback coming in from Nico. Big slide of fist, big dive in, but Kit doesn't die just yet. 300 HP, but he stays alive. So does DNM. Tingle King had that same amount of HP, but Scourge McDuck will not give him the same leeway of survival. He takes him out. Overlong dies on the far side of the fight. 4 heroes are gone at the dieback on Abaddon. And the cut now will be unimpeded if they want to go back up the hill. Leshrac feeling low on resources. Scourge McDuck happy to just say, well, I'll take this by myself then, if no one else is going to help me. And Wingblade, is there anything they can do now from this position to come back into this game for the 5RATFORCESTAFF?
Was so unfortunate. The TV had his BKB coming, couldn't get it in time, and now he doesn't have meta for 60 seconds, so it's gonna be 2 sets of racks down. They need to somehow defend this, but I'm not quite sure how. Because the cut, they can just wait for the next Roche, and I'm not sure if TB is gonna be big enough to stop another Aegis push.
Especially not in a situation where we see kids building into the Shiva's God, ensuring that they have that additional armor for the Lesh as well. It's already difficult enough for Italiano Gangster to get out these right clicks, but it becomes even harder when that massive shield is available. And we take a look at this fight. It's such an unfortunate situation that RP, DNM comes in, and it looked okay, right? Nico survives initially, but the second round of the fight just got too difficult for them. They came back in. Finally, Nico got punished for B's over-aggression, and he gets punished for it again as he loses his life now here around the triangle. Feels bad, but he got too far forward. And unfortunately, when the rest of your team is either in base or trying to eke out a little bit of farm inside the jungle, you just can't be there at the stage of the game, even if you do have a defensive remnant plop down. Which he didn't, but you know, even if he did, it would have been a bad place to be.
This could just be another tier 3. Because they have time for 2 edicts. The first one to kill the tier 2 and the second one to kill the tier 3. There is a meta up once again.
I think I have to correct you here, Wingblade. The first edict might even connect onto the tier 3. That's how fast they took the tower, my gosh. But you're definitely right that with 30 seconds to go, no buyback with Nico. It was already difficult enough to imagine them holding with 4 or 5 heroes, but how on earth do they do it with 4? They throw in some Morty's kisses to buy some space, but why are they scared of this? Already back up again. Kids doing it, Diabolic Edict, And the most sad thing is I think they're going to get these racks and get out before Nico even respawns. So doesn't even have an opportunity to fight to correct his mistake.
Yeah, Bristle is just walking around with 500 attack damage. This is exactly the timing I spoke about. It's so difficult for the Rats to do anything here. And they have an Aghanims now on Ember, which is great, but he has level 1 Fire Remnant. That's how much he's been struggling.
Yo, we've been looking at this gold advantage climb higher and higher. That's 16k right now, but the experience is also in a very, very dangerous place. They're 12 levels up on the side of the cut. A lot of levels have been picked up. A lot of talents that are now available for them that are so far out of reach for the rest here of the 5RATFORCESTAFF. And how, oh my goodness. I'm just trying to think about how does Terrorblade put himself into this winning position when you're not even level 15 on Italiano Gangster? They're going to try force a fight, jumping onto Giant here. They will be able to bring down this Rubik. That's a dieback, remember, on him. DNM pop BKB and got out and gets in a little bit of trouble. 5-snap cookie stuns him out. He doesn't have BKB. We might actually die here, and they do kill him with the Scatter Blast shot. Huge kill streak ended. Tingle King has Crippling Spear up again. Finds Scourge McDuck, but Scourge McDuck has the Spider Legs to walk away. Pingu doesn't have Spider Legs, so gets caught out by Nico, and they should have the damage to kill him. 3 heroes will fall. Finally, a successful fight for the 5RATFORCESTAFF. And look at this, wonder among wonders. The big man is up, he's available, he has an Aegis and a Shard, and they want to stop this though. On the side of the cut, Bristleback feeling like he's strong enough to just buy himself post up, but unfortunately, there is a little bit too much right damage, even for him. So they just have to watch this roach be taken until DNM goes for some big heroics. And he goes for them now. RP, connect under 2, but doesn't seem to matter as they get back with the 5-snap cookie and the Sunder. DNM will instead end up taking a tumble. Now this roach is even easier to take for the 5RATFORCESTAFF.
So Scrooge wants to go for it. He has the Spider Legs, but Megas are in the base, dealing a lot of damage, and this roach is not falling too quickly here.
McDuck comes in, BKB active, he's actually gonna chase down
Oh,
Nico.
goodness.
He runs him down and straight up kills him. Look at the damage on this Bristleback. He now wants more. Italiano Gangster does finish off the Aegis, but he's gonna have to drop it almost immediately. Loses his life early. Scourge McDuck almost died. He was 100 HP, but they just didn't have enough to bring him down. That was so close. Nico as well, with him dying, nobody was defending the base, so these tier 4 towers taking quite a bit of damage. Tingle King came back to help defend, but this is a Night Stalker with Echo Saber, BKB, and a value Ring of Health. He's nowhere near being able to stop this massive momentum of creeps and or just help out with the Roche attempt. So despite getting the Aegis Wing Blade, somehow they're even worse off than before they went in for that fight.
Night Stalker almost died in the base to creeps. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Fortitude, but I feel like this game may just be over.
Might just be done. It was a very long fight that brought us to that point in time. They got carried far and away, but here's the critical moment. Look at this damage that's going to come in from Scourge McDuck. The RP is great. It's quite nice, but the game is also about to end, because if Nico gets caught here, still doesn't have buyback. The only buyback in this game available for the 5RATFORCESTAFF is on the Snapfire. To be fair, the cut doesn't have buybacks either, but why would they need them? As they jump in, they found the Night Stalker, can't get off the BKB Wing Blade. He's already gone. No buyback as mentioned. Overlom in a similar boat. He's going to be joining his compatriot in the fountain. Italiano Gangster trying his utmost. Silver Edge hit out onto DNM, but even with the meta, with the right click, there's just nothing he can do here. Nico, one more textbook Nico play. He jumps in, but unfortunately he gets caught and he gets killed. RP on the solitary target of Italiano Gangster. Scourge McDuck is going to bring him down. The Thunder will be there buying a little bit of time, but it's not going to be nearly good enough. Too much damage, too much magic immunity, too much tankiness. And eventually 5RATFORCESTAFF realize that they have nothing more they can do. They throw in the towel, they give up the ghost. GG, well played is called. The cut